welcome to day 2 aboard Max 1. Yesterday we had those amazing conditions and light to mid winds, but we were able to do all of that really close hauled sailing. Today winds are going to be a little bit lighter, so hopefully we'll get the kite up later, but Terry's setup is a lot like ours. So as we start the day, I'm going to take you through the setup.
How do you do it?
And unlike our boat, we got rid of this nav station, so Terry did keep his, but we've got the 48 volt panel down here under the desk. So I'm just going to turn on the port motor generator, turn on the starboard motor generator, flip across here. This is our 12 volt panel, so I'm just going to do the port control box, starboard control box, and now we're going to go to the helm to turn on the electric engines.
The reason for the location of that 48 volt panel is because it's in line between the batteries and the bus bar. It's a high amperage load, so they didn't want to run it further away from there and then have it run back for it. So it's a little bit different of a location, but it seems to work.
Over to the raised helm, and at the moment we've got the steering moved out of the way just so you can see the panels better. With the hybrid marine, we're going to put the second button in, power that on, power on the starboard, and we'll be able to hear the clunk because it's going to be right below us. So you can hear that engage. And then we're going to give just a little bit of throttle here to kind of double check that everything is running.
Further. Oh, less than that.
Less than that. Sailing the boat off the dock, but it's working. So we're going to get those lines untied before we actually sail out of here. Hopefully we can get some wind out there so we can do some sailing.
Clear.
Leaving the marina now, just on our electric engines. And I believe that is the general direction that we are headed today. Instead of yesterday where we came out for about 3 hours, just we're doing all of the different like tacks and the sails, kind of had tired ourselves out a lot, so we just got back to the marina early and relaxed. I think we're gonna make it a longer day on the water today, so we're still gonna do a lot of sailing, but I think we're gonna get ourselves to an anchorage over at one of these islands, maybe go for a swim, enjoy our lunch, potentially get ashore, and then do some sailing on the way back too. Crazy to think that already tomorrow at this time we're gonna be packing up our gear to head back to the airport. So definitely gonna have to make the most of today. It's our last day sailing. Boo.
Make sure to watch for Nancy's ID floating around here.
Okay. Matt and Terry are getting ready to get the mainsail up, and I'm just very lightly motoring us into the wind. Starting to build up out here just a touch, but just got the electric engines on and going about 2 knots speed over ground, and then we'll be able to fall off the wind and start heading to our destination. Heading out to the islands there, but there's so many little fishing markers here that I get to bounce around on. Thank you. I got my little iced coffee. Won't lie, one of my favorite parts of Thailand. I mean, there's many, as you can see looking around, but can't find these anywhere else. So I am trying to keep our apparent wind angle around 35-40 degrees. So we've got the Genoa out. We've got full main. Right now boat speed, you can see jumping around 6-7. Speed over ground is 5-3, so we're fighting a current, and we do have the port electric engine on just a tad. So you can see I got a marker right there, right there, right there. So it's a little hard to keep exactly the angle that I want, but I think after this we're in the clear, and then I can just kind of balance the boat out to how we have the sheets trimmed right now. Fall off to what? Yep. So the apparent wind is changing because I've started up pointing that way, keeping 40 degrees all the way over here now.
That's good, Justin.
Okay.
What's the apparent wind on that?
44?
44. 45, go ahead.
Boat speed, 8-1. Granted, the sea state here is low, but I am, especially going directly to the Bahamas from the US where you're in all those protected waters, but you get the trade winds. I can't wait to take our boat down there, kind of learn how we handle it in waters like that. I think it'll be very similar to this, and it's just perfect.
Sheet in a little bit. Yeah, that's better.
Once we were out of the way of all the fishing markers and the winds properly filled in, we turned off the electric engines to see how we would do sailing to windward at 40 degrees off the apparent wind. We were averaging 8.5 to 9 knots with them running at a low RPM, and once in neutral, our speed dropped off about 1 knot. Trying to keep us as close to the wind as possible, our apparent wind angle would sometimes go down to 35, so we were still happy sailing at about 60% of wind speed with this arrangement.
Island here, and well, the map is kind of blocking it right now. But you can see that little island right there. So we're sailing about 40 degrees off apparent wind, 65, 70 degrees off true. We do have one of the electric engines going right now, keeping our boat speed at 8, speed over ground 6. Part of it is just to try out all the systems, and part of it is to get ourselves there sooner rather than later, because this is one of the few times that we don't have all the time in the world. We have today to do everything that we want to, so I think we want to get ourselves in and then have some lunch, maybe go for a swim, and then get back out where those winds will now be behind us and we can get the kite up and play around with that. We've got all of the sails down and in now as we're heading into anchor. The sun has started to pop out a little bit, and just in case you're wondering, yes, this is going to make us want to get back to cruising faster, finish the boat faster. I think Terry's plan of getting us out sailing on his boat worked.
This is unbelievable. And we had been kind of to this area 5 years ago. Yeah, and we absolutely loved it then. But what I'm seeing right now, I don't know how we forgot how beautiful this was. It's perfection. It really, truly is.
The only thing that we were missing before was wind, and now we have enough.
Well, what we were missing in Thailand was bread and cheese, and we found that now. Now we're happy.
Coming up to the beautiful island of Koh Khram, we wanted to position ourselves in the strait between the main island and the smaller Koh Khram Noi. Terry, having mini keels, has a draft of 1.15 meters, but even so, we were looking for a sandy spot in about 5 meters to drop our anchor. With all our sails down, I motored in slowly with the power of one electric engine, kept at a low RPM.
Okay, slow down now, bud. It's like right above a sandy patch. There we go. Yeah.
And now swim time. It looks like some inviting water.
That is nice.
It is beautiful. This is much nicer temperature than it was yesterday.
Is it?
That water was too damn hot.
unfortunately we didn't bring any cameras with us that can go underwater, so I've got my really old GoPro, actually not even really old. I've got my GoPro, I'm just gonna kind of wade around with it. I'm gonna get some shots of what the boat looks like from the water's view. Oh, but just look at those amazing mountain views you can see of under the hull.
Framed properly.
And then, oh, such a beautiful beach over there. Yeah, this is exactly what we needed. Sailing this boat, enjoying the lifestyle of anchorages and perfect blue water beaches. And then we're gonna have something to do beer.
Just a hollow motivator.
I know. Yep, let's get the boat in the water. We just had the most relaxing lounge hour. After we finished lunch, we did our swim. Then Terry cooked up some sausages and some skewers that Matt and I picked up by the marina office this morning, and just had a beer and sat in the cockpit. I'm excited to go sailing again. I'm sad that I just don't get to lounge and enjoy these beautiful beaches and lush rolling mountains around me. Noticed some thunder behind us, so hopefully that kind of stays off, but because we were pinching the entire way here, trying to stay about 50 degrees to true wind angle, that means we're gonna have the wind behind us on the way back. So the kite that Matt and I packed yesterday, we're gonna get that up and see what we can do with that. All done with the code, time to store away.
It looks like a dead body.
I'm gonna call a dead body a code 65 now every time I see one.
Yeah.
And she's in. Okay. Time to get the anchor up. Goodbye, beautiful island and beaches. Absolutely stunning. And we got the kite up. Look at that. Neutral. Boat's in neutral.
Whoa!
Damn, Terry, that's a good looking sail.
Nice course.
Course is 130. Want me to hold it?
I'll trim you out in a sec. Just stay on that course. Yeah?
Alrighty.
You're heading for the marina, yeah?
What's true wind speed right now? So right now we're doing about mid fives, sailing under just a spinnaker, and we are regenning 5 amp per side. So it's amazing that we're still making power. We're obviously solar we got coming in as well. Our batteries are almost full anyway, and we're just cruising along on the spinnaker as comfortable as can be.
I've got Matt working the helm right now, Terry is working the lines, and I am just up on the bow, sitting in a beanbag, having a beer and enjoying the beautiful views around me. I kind of don't want this day to end. We could just if we could just downwind sail for the next 5 hours until sunset, that would be good for me. I swear that thing went up perfectly, just pretty much set itself, and this downwind sail back to the marina is so comfortable and beautiful. Kind of doesn't even feel like work.
Yeah, one more chance for 13 knots wind.
While we're staying on Terry's boat, one of the things that we're really excited to try or get to test out for livability, especially because on Hull 4 for Steve's boat that we did the sea trials on, that we spent a lot of time aboard at the Annapolis Boat Show, it had that kind of island here in the cockpit. And Hull 6 that we did the sea trials on, that we were only aboard for a couple hours for 2 days, had the island as well. What they have started doing now, just after that boat, is to turn this into an L-shaped settee here. So it gives extra seating, kind of extra lounging. So on ours, it's just the seat running along this wall here. Again, a great lounging space. You can fully spread out. Here you still have that option, but you also get extra seating, and it gives you this permanent table here, which, as you can see at the moment, it's folded in to save space, but if you want to put more people around it, you know, it flips out, and now you can have your dinner parties out here. So we really wanted to use it and see what we thought, instead of just kind of looking at it as a concept, because we knew of it, we had seen lots of photos, and it is great. I think we've had a couple of meals out here with Terry as we were doing our sails, just kind of lounging around. It's a great spot to have your drinks. But for Matt and I think we're gonna stick with the way that we have it, because when you do bring the seat out this way, now all of a sudden, especially from the galley, from the salon, you're losing that full visibility that we have. And so this door for us is gonna slide all the way open, floor to ceiling, you get that view. The center door is gonna flip up and latch to the overhead. That door slides out, so when we're inside our boat, we're gonna get the full indoor, outdoor living experience. That means for us that we can't have a table quite like this, because that door has to swing up and it would catch. So instead we're gonna do like a long type of just breakfast bar, coffee table out here, which is gonna be mobile, that we can move it inside and out. And then of course we can still have it flip open, but we're very grateful that we had the chance to actually use this, because we loved the looks of it and we loved the idea of it. We just wanted to see how it would work for us, and in the end, I think we're gonna stick with what we've been planning out, which also thankfully means that we don't have to build another settee. So I'm sure you guys are happy that we don't have to take an extra few weeks to modify our cockpit, but for a lot of people, I can see how this is the great option for them.
And I do believe this has been the most popular configuration now, is going with this L shape. As Jess was saying, for what we really wanted and what we fell in love with this design was having that complete bulkhead open up and that indoor outdoor type of feel. So for us, we're gonna try to maximize that and utilize that the best way, in having that movable ottoman, having extra seating that we can move around, kind of a bench basically. We can make it into an L shape, we can bring it back here. And anybody that's been on board a catamaran for some time knows that the aft seat I'm sitting in right now does get a lot better ventilation, because the wind's able to come around. So it gives us the option to sit back here, we can still kick up our feet, be comfortable. We can move that seat around the table, and of course when we have more people there, it's just a more versatile thing for us, the way that we're going to use it. And it also allows us to move that inside if we want to get some additional seating around our U-shaped set, or the settee in there. So if we do have way too many people in dining with us, we can make sure everyone's nice and comfortable.
We are sadly packing up all of our belongings. We've spent 2 full days here on Max 1. Just finished up our breakfast and the car is coming to get us in 30 minutes, so.
So previously we've had the opportunity to do kind of day sails on the boat, which was a great experience, but that was limited by the river in Ho Chi Minh as to what we were able to do. So this is our first opportunity to actually get out there and really experience the sailing, which of course is what this boat is for. But it also gave us the opportunity to figure out that livability, experience what our future holds.
Yeah, that's the strangest part because we're so close to it all the time. I mean, 7 days a week we're in their building, so we're very familiar with the space. And we kind of forget that at the end of it all, we're going to be living on it.
Coming from a monohull background, we spent a bunch of time on cats. We do understand what it's going to be like, but when you're sitting here and, you know, we're cooking dinner or just lounging, it's just such an amazing feeling. Of course, it helps that we're in one of the most beautiful areas in the world. We spent majority of time just staring in awe at how everything works together, that salon space with the galley, the massive galley in here, and just keep falling in love again and again with this boat.
And then of course there's the sailing. So every single thing that, you know, Terry had promised us from the stage that we were just in renders, because when we started this, there hadn't been any completed yet on the water. And so, you know, we're getting the polars and the different things of what the boat should be capable of, and it absolutely is. So having the chance to get on the water, and again, we got this boat so that we could perform in light winds. Like, we know it will do well in heavier winds, but we wanted the ability just to like move when there's barely a breeze. We've kind of had that experience the past few days, you know, like around 10 knots, but it could perform in 5 knots, it could perform in 3 knots. It's been done.
In this area specifically, that's been Terry's sales pitch to people that are coming out, is going out in 4 and 5 knot winds and actually being able to sail. We're so looking forward to that. We've talked about it in the past that was what we didn't like about our elements. The aluminum boat was that we had to be going out in heavy weather to get that thing moving. It was heavy and it was under canvas. And so we wanted to flip that completely because we were so tired of going out in bad weather to be able to actually sail to the next spot. When it's the most amazing seas out there, they're flat, there's just a puff of wind, we can actually go and sail to that next destination. So that is the catalyst. For a performance cruising boat, top speed, I don't care about. That isn't what matters to me. It's that light wind sailability, and we've got it in spades.
Exactly, yeah, and achieving so close to the wind speed too, it's going to make those daytime passages faster. That was the other thing that we didn't like on the last boat, the Alu boat, was that we would always have to leave in the evening and arrive in the morning to cover 70 miles because we couldn't do it in daylight hours. But now we'll definitely be able to do that.
And it sure seemed like every single anchorage, every single place that we were going to was just far enough that we couldn't do it in daylight hours. It's tiring. If you haven't experienced it, those
it's like having a
overnights
hangover once you arrive.
Yeah.
You're just shattered.
A lot of that decision making when we were deciding what was going to be the next boat were the things that were frustrating us. They're all livable things. They're things that you can get past eventually, but we just didn't want to make that compromise anymore. We wanted these abilities, that light wind ability especially, and so actually getting aboard the boat again and experiencing that feel. We didn't get the top speeds like we did when we were in Vietnam because we didn't have the wind for it. So, you know, that 17, 18 knots that we got previously at boat speed wasn't here, but we weren't going for that. We wanted to see what it would do in that lighter wind and without crazy sail up. If you look when we were running the spinnaker, we were doing it just with the spinnaker. We didn't have the mainsail up, didn't have anything else up. We were doing just that, and that borrowed spinnaker was from a different boat. We were still able to, you know, obtain that at least 50% at lower wind speeds, which is what we were looking for. Of course, we could put the main up and gain just a little bit, but that wasn't really necessary. And for her and I, we would prefer not to have massive sails up with huge loads on it to get the boat moving. We can do it a lot more when, you know, 1 or 2 reefs in, and we can still move perfectly fine, not heavy loads. We can still easily manage everything. And part of the reason why we chose a 44-foot boat is it allows us to do that. Her and I, she doesn't have the biggest arms, the biggest muscles.
There's no
so
muscle.
Yeah, so we're able to do that, just her and I, with no problem.
So yes, after having non-interrupted time to live aboard the boat, to sail the boat, we definitely feel like we made the right decision in going with this. We're of course very excited to finish ours now and get it on the water so we can experience this full time ourselves, but we're in awe of Max Cruise, and so yeah, we can't wait to see what they have coming in the future when their 48s and 55s launch.
Yeah, the 48, I will say it time and time again, I think that is going to be the sweet spot for people. It just looks like it's going to be finished beautifully. The layout, I was very excited about just when I started seeing the renders, but now when I'm seeing the reality of it in person is even better than what we could have imagined there too. We do have such a good relationship with the yard here that it does, I know, sound like we're just salespeople. We're not. Everything that we've seen, we just absolutely love what's going on. And so we're very proud to be roughly associated with it. You know, it's not like we work for them. It's not like anything like that. It's just such a good relationship with the yard, with the people there, with Terry and Nancy especially, that we're just very happy to show off what they're doing.
But now we've got the car coming, got last little bits to pack, so we hope that you enjoyed all of our time here in Southeast Asia.